I used to have a good friend when I was in graduate school who was an older man, a professor, and I used to go over to his office and just chat with him for long times. We talked about all kinds of interesting things, and some of it was personal, and it was very enjoyable. I always had great conversations and felt like it was a great experience, and I enjoyed doing it. However, sometimes I would notice that I feel a little bit drained, like, okay, I'm done, I'm beat. And it was kind of strange because I think of an uplifting conversation with a friend, something that's meaningful, to be something that I would want to keep doing and it would give me energy. And in some ways it did. But there was a limit to how much I could take or how far I could go. And so what I noticed is that I needed time to recover, needed time to be on my own after that. And it was sometimes felt kind of awkward because I'm like, okay, well, if we had a great conversation today, let's have another great conversation tomorrow. And it could just go on like that. And I had to be the one to draw the limit. And I remember feeling a little guilty about that. So as a highly sensitive person, I process things deeply. We all do. And we pick up on emotional nuance, which means that even positive things can take energy because we're processing all of these little nuances. A conversation, when you think of talking for an hour or 2 hours, there's a lot of things that you talk about. There's a lot of emotions that can be touched upon, different experiences that are shared. And should I share this or not? Judging the other person, are they receptive? Are they open? And how much do I engage with them? How much should I be sharing myself? There's a lot of little but strong decisions that are made, and a lot of noticing that happens. Noticing all the facial expressions, noticing how engaged the person is, noticing your own feelings and where you want to go, whether you want to not go there. It's actually quite a lot. And as a highly sensitive person, we tend to process even more deeply because it's our nature to do so. And so a positive conversation, something that is actually enjoyable and fulfilling on many levels, can actually cause a little bit of overwhelm. And it can be something that you may want to do in smaller doses or with some spacers in between. And that's something that I've discovered slowly over time. There's an idea of emotional fullness. Like when you eat a good meal, if you eat good food, there will still become a time where you've had enough of the good food and it's time to stop eating, time to go do something else, time to go away from the table. And so it's the same with friends. And we as HSPs, we love deep connection. This is kind of, in a way, like the holy grail, to get to be with someone and go deeply into something with them and share and find meaningful conversation and connection. It's something that nourishes us. But too much nourishment can also be overwhelming and can overload the system. And that's natural. So there's a natural coming together and a natural moving apart. And I think that's regardless of whether you're a highly sensitive person or not. But it's even more, and we have to be even more aware of it when we're highly sensitive people. Because our limit may be sooner than another person's limit. And we still need to, in quote unquote, pull away from the table and take care of ourselves. So overstimulation isn't always loud. It isn't always negative. It can come from beauty. It can come from depth, and it can come from intimacy. So it's really good to be aware of these sources, positive sources of potential overwhelm as well. So what does the nervous system actually need after connection? Basically, when we're engaged emotionally with someone, it activates the same systems that regulate stress, even in safe spaces. Even when a conversation is loving and meaningful, your limbic system, your amygdala and your autonomic nervous system are engaged. And these systems are responsible for reading facial expressions, for interpreting tone and subtle emotional cues, for monitoring safety or social harmony, for regulating empathy and attunement. And so this means that your body is running a kind of background scan throughout the interaction, not necessarily to detect threat, but to stay connected and responsive. For HSPs, this scan runs even more deeply and continuously because our nature is sensory processing sensitivity. So we continually process these things even more deeply than most people. And that means that there's a kind of limit to how much depth of conversation we can take, how much we can handle before we start to need some recovery time to return to our baseline. Whenever we're overstimulated, this is just the key thing to understand as a highly sensitive person. If you're overstimulated, then you don't function as well, and you can start to get emotional, and you can start to feel like you're not your best self. So signs to look for, like fogginess, irritability, craving silence, like just wanting to get away, or fatigue in the body. And if you pay attention to this inside of yourself, you will notice where your limit is. Everybody's limit is different, and every situation is different. Every relationship's different. But the important point for me is to pay attention to what my experience is. What is my internal experience? Am I starting to feel like this is enough? Am I starting to feel like this is too much? Or am I still in that sweet spot where I'd like to continue? And that's a moment-to-moment kind of check-in. And if I can do that, then I can stop when I'm ready, and I can continue as long as I'm still ready to go. So, how to honor your need for space without guilt or without self-doubt? The tendency for us as highly sensitive people is to feel responsible for other people's emotions. It's a trap that all people get caught in. But as highly sensitive people, because we're so attuned to people's emotions and because we dislike harmony or think we can't handle conflict or even disapproval, then we are highly tuned to the other person's feelings. And that can be a good thing in many, many ways, but it can also get us caught and feeling guilty when our needs need to be taken care of. For example, okay, I've had all I can take and I need to go and be alone now. And that can sometimes bring up a feeling of guilt because you don't want to let the person think that you don't like being with them. You do, but there's a limit. So I think one of the most important things for me is to speak about it or to think about it as there's room for both. And I need space, but just because I need space doesn't mean I don't care. It means that I'm caring for myself so that I can keep showing up for you. And if I stop caring for myself and just keep on doing what you would expect, then I'm going to end up in a stressed place, and it's not going to be fun for me, and it's probably not going to be fun for you as well. So talking about boundaries like this is a beautiful way of getting to know each other and getting to know what my specific limits are. And this can actually be a form of intimacy, a form of love, and it can be, once understood, something that allows the relationship to continue to have deep and meaningful connections without going past the overwhelm point. An interesting way to kind of process this, if you want to do this on your own, is to ask yourself, how can I support both my connection with this person and my recovery or my need to recover. And if you think about how can I get both? How can I manage to have both? Then you will probably find the balance where you are able to take care of yourself, able to step away and be alone and take care of your own needs while still making it clear to the other person that you love the connection and want to stay connected.